Hello everyone. So today we are going to start working on getting the transmission back in, the flywheel back on. We also got a new output shaft seal for this because I noticed when this one was in the car it was leaking, which fluid coming out, but so I got a new seal for that we're going to put in before we put it back in the car. And I decided that we are going to just use this slave cylinder, or this master cylinder that we used before. And hopefully with the new fitting, we shouldn't have any bleeding problems or anything like that. It was working when I first got in and first got it bled. So I'm hoping that just putting it back in, as long as it doesn't get air in the system, it should work fine. I tried to find a different one and I had no luck considering the amount of room I have to work with. So that's what we're going to do. So I think we'll start with getting the new output shaft seal in the transmission. We got to get this throwout bearing back on there, and then we will get the flywheel and clutch back onto the engine. So let's get to work. I also wanted to mention I got the transmission jack. I got it from Harbor Freight. I actually like this design the best of all of them. You can just put a wrench or a drill on the end of this to make it go up and down. And it also has this kind of tilt feature. So when you're trying to get it onto the engine, you can adjust it a little bit without having to crank it up and down. And that has a strap to go around it to hold it to it. So should work really good for what I needed, and it was one of the cheapest ones you could find too, so it's really nice. So I gotta tighten the casters on here. That was all you had to do when you got it, so we'll see how it works and we'll get this thing back in. So luckily I kept the instructions and the fastener assembly lube for the ARP bolts to mount the flywheel. So what you're supposed to do is put the assembly lube on the head of the bolt here, this mounting flange, and then you put Loctite, blue Loctite on the threads. And then the instructions say to torque them to 70 pound-feet of torque. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I did last time, and they were all tight when I took them off. And with the clearance, I just double checked the clearance and it all seems to be good. So I don't think this is gonna be a problem. It probably wasn't a problem before, but I'm gonna get these on here and then we'll get the clutch on. Alright, I thought I was recording this, but apparently I wasn't. I got all of these torqued to 70 pound-feet of torque. So the clutch should be ready to go on. And the way I got it so this wouldn't turn, I just put this pry bar and wedged it right here against this dowel pin, and it locked it in place real easy. It was actually easier because the last time I put it was on the engine stand, or the engine hoist, and the engine was moving around everywhere I was torquing this. So this way it was actually a lot easier to do, even though I was under the car, but it was nice. So we're gonna get the clutch on now. So the clutch is all on there and all the bolts. These were supposed to be tightened to 11 pound-feet of torque, but it says it's application specific sometimes, and I just torqued them a little more. It just seemed like not very much to me. So I do have blue Loctite on these as well. So it's all aligned, and this is ready to put the transmission on. So now we gotta get the throwout bearing on the transmission, get the lines through the holes, and then we can try to put that on. Well, we got the transmission in. It's bolted on there. I still gotta put the cross brace and everything on there, but it's on. That transmission jack worked pretty well. It was definitely needed. I couldn't have lifted it up onto there without having that. This transmission is always kind of hard to get on because of the two dowel pins. But there's a bolt right next to each dowel pin, and I learned if you put a bolt in each one of those and then tighten them down at the same time, like just go back and forth little by little, it just pops right on there. So it's on. I need to finish it up, but it's looking good. And that's probably going to be all for this episode. I'm once again out of time, and we got quite a bit done. I got the transmission on, which is nice. I still need to finish all the hydraulics and all that stuff, but it's doing really good. So hopefully we'll get that done maybe tomorrow. And then another thing I found that I need to fix, this silver piece right here, I 3D printed, and I noticed with the heat off the exhaust, it's actually making it warp. Like this was tight on here, and now it's loose, and you can see right here it's warping a little bit due to the heat. So I'm probably going to take this off and try to make this out of metal and see if we can do something there. That's really should be all we need to do before the car show, the next one that I'm going to go to. I got the front wheels off, and I got all of the joints lubed up, so those shouldn't squeak and should be way better now. And so that'll be about it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you like and subscribe. Thanks, bye.